Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Friends You Can Keep podcast.
That was almost a disaster.
Why?
Because that table was about to go.
I had it.
No, I had it.
I had it under control. I'll move my water. That's better. Water's got a lid. Soda does not. So before we jump into the meat, I have two small notes. Well, actually three, but they're not really. We watched. So our both sets of grandparents were on vacation this past week. So Kelly was with the boys 3 days. I was with the boys Thursday and Friday. I've grown weary of watching. I mean, I love the movies. Don't get me wrong; they're great movies. There's only so many times you can watch Encanto and Wreck-It Ralph and Big Hero 6.
Speak for yourself.
And just the same movies over and over again. So I thought, what are movies that I can find that I can watch that are both entertaining to me or I liked growing up and are appropriate for my 4-year-old?
Or that he would even
first one I
pay
found
attention to.
that he did love, Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, I mean,
I have one. I do think that we should add that to the list of movies that once we start doing the whole go back and watch movies from our childhood.
I never saw it.
And then talking. You never saw Inspector Gadget with Brendan Fraser? No, Matthew Broderick.
Mm-mm. That came out when I was in college. I'm pretty sure.
So, great movie. Why don't you have seen it? How dare you?
I don't know. I just never did.
The sequel is an entirely different cast.
Oh, sure. It's one
Why
of those.
Matthew Broderick would not have returned, I don't know. But
I feel like the first one didn't do very well.
I thought it did, but then again, I was a child.
Not because it was a bad movie, but it was just one of those
was I? When did that
underproduced.
Inspector Gadget.
I don't think it came out when I was in
1999.
No, absolutely not.
1999. I was 6 years old when that movie came out.
So I was in middle school.
So you were 13. You could have watched Inspector Gadget.
But I feel like I didn't know about it.
Shame on you for not. I have to look up something to clarify because I was going to make a criticism of this, and now that I'm looking at it, is it accurate? Maybe not. Images. No, son of a bitch, am I wrong?
Did you think someone else was in
Here it is, but where did you get McDonald's? So it is right. So they had
the toys?
They had Inspector Gadget toys when this movie came out that were very strange, and you really step back and think of it. Body parts. And once you collected them all, you put it together and it was his body. He had the helicopter hat, and his arms did something.
They had in the 90s, in the earlier 90s when the TV show was big, they had
Burger King, I'm pretty sure.
Oh. Because I remember the toys, because I had the guy with the helicopter
hat. I thought the toys, well, the earlier ones were just like action figures of the full thing.
Yeah, you got the whole guy.
The one I was thinking of for this movie, I thought were Burger King kids meal toys. And I noticed while watching the movie, so my note is inaccurate. There's not really any very egregious product placement in Inspector Gadget that I recall. But one of the buttons on the dash of the Gadgetmobile, he has a full soda machine in there. One of the buttons is the McDonald's logo. So watching it, and they don't really talk about it. They don't ever there it is. You just kind of see it in a couple shots. So in my mind, I thought the toys were from Burger King. And I'm like, how strange.
Yeah, what a weird...
that your toys were at Burger King,
there's
but
no
you
way.
have a McDonald's logo there, which tells
way.
me you wanted to partner with McDonald's and you couldn't make it work. But I'm also pretty certain that in 99, McDonald's was probably in all the Disney parks. So of course they were partnered with McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't remember when
we just watched that video about the long stand. Well, we didn't watch it because you were very bored. Because you didn't realize what it was about. Because the opening is how Ray Kroc and Walt Disney met during the war, and you're like, "What the fuck is this? I'm not watching this shit."
It went back a little.
And the second it's like, "Oh, Walt Disney," you're like, "Oh, what?"
It was a bit longer. It went back further than I needed to.
Not a great look that he's in bed with Ray Kroc. But
well,
whatever.
Not really. Not great, but when you find out that they're like war buddies, that's a little different. Because like their like personal values may have been different.
Yeah.
But like you're still like indebted to like your war buddies.
I also noticed, so we watched Inspector Gadget on Thursday. Tony loved it. We then watched, we watched Man of the House with Chevy Chase and Farrah Fawcett. I forgot how attractive Farrah Fawcett was until that movie came on.
Wispy hair.
And I'm like, she really was like very attractive. And is it Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Norm from Cheers is in it. Lots of people were in that movie.
Which is weird because like I feel like Jonathan Taylor Thomas was also in that movie with Tim Allen. And isn't it kind of like the same idea?
That's not JTT. Yeah, that's some other kid I've never heard of. You're thinking of
where they go.
Oh, what's that called? It's not JTT.
I forget. It's like in something about like the wild or something.
Well, that's where his ex-wife is, and she had a kid.
Oh yeah, and he's
but
like an actual. The kid is a Native American, isn't he?
Well, I don't know, because he was born wherever his ex-wife is, so he's not. I don't know how you explain that.
Yeah. I remember now. And you're right, it's not JTT.
What was that movie called? I'm gonna guess it came out. Oh no, there it is. Jungle to Jungle.
Yeah.
97.
But then Jonathan Taylor Thomas was definitely in one. And I'm pretty sure it was with
Martin Short is also in this movie.
With Tim Allen. What movie am I thinking of?
Sam Huntington is the kid. You're thinking of Home Improvement.
No, I'm not. Tom and Huck, Man of the House.
Chase.
I'm probably in my mind confusing.
Well, when did
Jungle
Man
to
of the
Jungle
House
and
come
Man
out?
of the House 95.
Oh. So 2 years later, Jungle to Jungle. I think the problem is the cover of Jungle to Jungle is Tim Allen with a bunch of feathers and an arrow in his mouth. And then Man of the House, the group they're in is the Indian Guides.
Yeah.
Like it feels. Yes. You think about those movies and they feel like they're very similar. Yes, and they're not similar at all.
I thought it was like JTT in both of them.
Because like much of his career, like people don't like Tim Allen now, but when you look back at his career, much of his career is just him playing an asshole.
Yeah.
He's an asshole in Jungle to Jungle. He's kind of an asshole in
The Santa Claus?
Well, he's an asshole in Home Improvement, but he's written to be like the hero of that show, so you don't really notice it.
He's an idiot. Yes.
But he's also an asshole because he doesn't like. It's never admitted how stupid he is.
Well, the issue is
he's a lot of hubris.
His stupidity is like stuff because he just doesn't bother to ask.
But again, in the Santa Claus, Santa Claus is an exception because he's only an asshole for like the first 10 minutes. Then everybody else,
true.
Then everybody else is an asshole. Judge Reinhold is a total asshole. And that movie, I feel like, made a generation of people hate that man because he is the worst.
Well, and the stepdad,
Judge Reinhold.
Oh, that's his name.
That's the stepdad.
Oh,
and his ex-wife is also a bitch. And then like
Calvin. No, that's
Scott Calvin is.
Yeah, what's the Hal? What's the stepdad's name? It's something weird. Hal. I think it's Hal.
No, it's not. I forget what it is. You can look it up.
Is it?
Well, no. Don't even get me started on the scene of like
a weenie whistle,
where he's eating, where he orders food at lunch,
yeah.
And then all his coworkers are like, "Really, Scott?"
No, and he says like, "All my clothes are in the cleaners," and
Well, he got sweatpants on. Well, they ask him about his weight, and he's like, "Oh, I got stung by a bunch of bees," or whatever his excuse is. And then he orders all that food, and the lady's like, "A bee, Scott," and it's like, "Fuck you!"
But though his boss like flat out says like, "Not your clothes, your weight."
Yeah, well, he's like, scraping the parfait dish.
Oh yeah.
And then they go out in the hallway, and he's like, "Try a salad once in a while." Like he said,
Neil.
Neil, there it is.
I knew it was like
But they're very like.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a whole scene in that movie that is just total fat shaming.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Does this
aggressive.
look like a little weight to you?
What's my favorite line in the movie?
But that's him talking about himself. That's different.
Yes, that's also different.
Yeah. Because he's talking to his doctor, and his doctor says like,
"Oh, you've put on a little weight."
Yeah. Yeah.
Does this look like a little weight?
So
to
like
you?
that interaction.
I shave in the morning, but then by the afternoon it looks like this.
Yeah.
Great movie. I don't like Tim Allen. I don't like current Tim Allen, but great movie.
I mean, as a person, I think he's not great, but he does have. I do enjoy the Santa Claus movie. I mean, I'm really
as a person, he probably wasn't ever great. The man got arrested for smuggling cocaine over the Mexican border.
I mean, not.
But don't get me wrong. I loved Home Improvement. I still love Home Improvement when it's on. I love the Santa Claus.
It's so cringy, though.
The only thing I don't like about him is how, like, he became aggressively conservative, and then when people were like, "This isn't really funny," he got like angry about it, and it became this whole like, "Oh, everybody's too woke," and it's like, no, you're just a shitty comedy writer now,
right?
Because Home Improvement wasn't really political, and then I watched 5 seconds. I watched 5 minutes of one episode of Last Man Standing.
Yeah, no,
and it's like him and his grandson, and he's quizzing him on like who the Supreme Court justices are, and his grandson is maybe 10. I'm like, what the fuck is this show?
I think the point of that little boy was supposed to be like super smart. I think was like,
which don't get me started on super smart kids in movies and TV shows. I'm so tired of that.
But it's also like,
why is this necessary?
No, the one that I remember, I've only seen one episode, and it was about guns, and I was like, it was weird.
Like I said, I've seen bits and pieces of it because my parents watch it, your parents watch it, and like
I don't
the stuff I've seen, I'm just like, there's no need for this show to be as political as it is.
Yeah.
And like then they cancel it, and he got super butthurt they canceled it, then CMT picked it up, and I'm like, again, you made like a weird political sitcom that it's you own like a fucking Bass Pro Shop, but like a generic sitcom model of a Bass Pro Shop. Why is this a political satire? It just didn't
feel like, and I think
you took Home Improvement and tried to like make it Murphy Brown. That's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, like, and the jokes that you made in Home Improvement like worked in the 90s, but if you did them now, like it wouldn't really work anymore. Like that's not.
But they weren't the same jokes. Is the problem?
Right? He's just not. He's not keeping like current with like these are the, because he definitely also, there wasn't much like, he was trying to be dry humor and it wasn't working. Like, I don't know. It just,
Last Man Standing?
Yeah. You know, like, because like there wasn't, from the episode I remember, like a whole lot of like the canned like sitcom laughter.
Yes.
But then like there was a lot of times where I was like, was that supposed to be funny? Like, did you mean for that to be a joke? Because it wasn't like, like even like a dry sense of humor.
Hector Elizondo was on it, which is a weird like, made me want to watch the show because I liked him a lot. But my point was, I watched those movies, and then we watched Rookie of the Year, which Tony did not pay attention to Man in the House. He vaguely paid attention to like 30 seconds of Rookie of the Year.
Pitcher's got a big butt. I said that to him, and he didn't even respond.
No, he couldn't tell you what that movie was about. He paid zero attention to it. He was on his tablet all morning.
He saw an opportunity and he took it.
Well, I told him like twice. I'm like, would you play with your little brother? He's like up your ass. He wants to play with you. And you're like, okay. And he like played with him for 30 seconds. And the second Robin crawled away from me, he's like, well, back on my tablet.
Bye.
And I'm like, fine. But the second we get back from lunch, you're not going on your tablet. But my point was, I noticed the movies that we've seen that are new movies,
for kids or in general?
For kids.
Oh.
Because those movies were for kids. Those weren't like,
well, I didn't know if you meant like,
so you've got your Elementals, like movies like that. I noticed our generation of movies were absentee parents, divorced parents, single parents,
mm-hmm.
and just full-blown Your kids can just leave whenever they want, come home whenever they
Mhm.
want, no matter how old they are.
Mhm.
And then like our children's movies are super inclusive. Both parents are there. Everyone
Well,
loves
unless
each
it's a
other.
Disney movie.
Everyone loves each other. Or you are working through severe generational trauma.
Well,
Because
because
that's Coco, that's Encanto,
it's Elemental.
it's Elemental.
Because that's what we as parents are dealing with.
Because that's what our generation is now writing. Because we are the writers of those movies.
Yeah. This is what we know. And I guess in
but it was
the
just so
90s,
funny.
like,
But it was just so funny because there's a scene.
that's what they knew.
There's so many scenes in Rookie of the Year, but those kids are just like out in the
Well, the
streets doing
Sandlot's
whatever.
like that.
Well, I never really saw the Sandlot beginning to end to know enough
It's
about
just
that.
the same idea, I think.
Also, when did that movie come out?
The Sandlot?
Yes.
I thought in the 90s.
I thought it was the late 80s.
Maybe.
A lot
Dear Darla.
before.
Have you seen that movie? Oh, that's Little Rascals.
That's Little Rascals. The
Oh,
hell are you talking about?
I'm thinking of Little Rascals. I don't know why. Is there a kid that's the same in both of those movies?
I don't
Why
think
am
so.
I getting them confused? They're two very different movies.
Well, so is the Sandlot and Rookie of the Year. The only thing is that they're about baseball. But like, there's a scene where the mom gets them Cubs tickets. They just leave on. They're just walking through Chicago to Wrigley Stadium, Wrigley Field. Oh, let's go to the Cubs game. Like, by themselves. There's not a single adult with them. They go into the game by themselves.
Well,
it's just so
and now,
weird,
like, even if a parent was going to let their kid do that,
oh, yes,
they wouldn't
this is all pre 9/11.
They wouldn't let your kids in.
Those are all pre 9/11 in America. But it's just hilarious to me to like watch movies like that where that I grew up watching. It's just like seeing movies that come out now versus seeing movies that came out when I was a kid. When parents were just like, "Who gives a shit? Do whatever you want."
Bye. Well, look at Milk Money, where those kids go to
I didn't see that movie.
I thought you watched it then.
No, I listened to How Did This Get Made? Milk Money.
Yeah,
and I did not watch it.
I told you definitely should, but you know what it's about? Two little boys like take money and go buy a hooker in the city.
Well, also, you talk about you wouldn't be able to do that now when it comes to Rookie of the Year. That whole movie is completely
impossible.
So for those of you that have never seen Rookie of the Year, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, I think it's on HBO Max. I forget where I watched it. I think it was on HBO Max.
Probably.
But it's about a kid who is a baseball player. First of all, I should save this because we should do it when we do that whole movie thing. But I can repeat some of these. He plays Little League.
He breaks his arm.
Well, the thing I'm pointing out is I think it's implied he doesn't play a lot, but he's all the other kids on the team. Because, I'm going to play today because this kid's out sick or whatever, and the only other option is this kid, and he sucks. All the kids have full uniform shirt, uniform pants. He has uniform shirt and jeans.
Well, I also think it isn't...
It's just so weird. Like, why do you have jeans on? Because no one says anything about it.
Does he not have a lot of money? Wasn't there like something with his...
They never addressed their financial situation. I mean, she bought... I guess the point is the Cubs suck. Because that's the majority of that movie. Right. It's like, the Cubs are terrible.
And he breaks his arm, and then
he plays,
gets a foul
ball. He gets put in the game, breaks his arm. When his arm heals, the tendons heal super tight. So his arm just like when he's got it here, it just like
it's like a catapult.
The funniest scene is when he slaps that doctor in the face, and the doctor's like, I want to see you back here in 3 weeks. It's so funny. I was trying to get Tony to watch it because I knew he would laugh at it, and he didn't watch it. But yeah, then they go to the Cubs game because that's you got your cast off. Here's your tickets. Here's your gift. They go to the Cubs game. No, the opposing team hits a home run.
Oh, I thought it was a
guys
foul.
Behind them catch it. The guy throws it. It
misses.
Hits the fence. Doesn't even go back on the field. Everyone laughs at him. Hits it again. His friend gets it. This is on TV. I'm not throwing it. Hands it to the friend. Hands it to Henry. Henry gets it. And they have this stupid ADR. The second he puts his arm back, you hear this sound effect, and he looks at his arm, and then he throws it from as far out, Like it's outfield seats, but not at the wall, not all the way up top. You're kind of in the middle, but you're all the way out in the outfield. Throws it from there to home plate, and it knocks the catcher over. It's so fast. Hilarious seeing is then the guy who's the first one's like, "You trying to show me?" or something like that. But then the whole premise of the movie is the Cubs suck so bad because Gary Busey is a terrible pitcher because he has shoulder surgery and it's not healing properly and he's old. And they then hire Henry Rollingardner, a high schooler.
No, I think he might be in middle school.
Actually, he probably is in middle school, but a little leaguer to then pitch for the Chicago Cubs. His manager is his mother's boyfriend of like, I'm going to guess of 3 months, not even that.
Yeah.
But Gary Busey's in it. The guy who plays one of the Wet Bandits is in it. Carla's ex-husband from Cheers is in it.
Oh yeah. It's a great movie.
It is a fantastic movie. Very, very good. Very funny. There was something else I was going to point out. I forgot John Candy was in it. Completely forgot John Candy.
Yeah, so did I.
There was something else I was just thinking of when I said about they hired him, and I forgot what the hell it was, and it's going to bug me now. But yeah, that's one of those. Oh, there's also the other thing I wrote down for our generation of like family movies. They're not really for families, but this generation's movies about kids are like raunchy teen comedies.
Yeah, but I feel like we probably also had those. Because there was like...
I feel like if we did, it wasn't like as many... Because I feel like what we had were your...
Because Can't Hardly Wait is one.
But those weren't...
They're high school, though.
But
those kids are in high school.
But my point is they're not raunchy. Not like these ones are
But
raunchy.
we had... Well, Euro Trip,
these are like rated R movies starring like middle schoolers.
Well, they're not rated R, though, are they?
Some of them are. Well, there's that Good Boys that Seth Rogen wrote. Like, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of coming-of-age movies where it's children just, like, swearing profusely. The content is super sexual.
Well, look at Gossip Girl. That's probably ours. And they're in, like, high school.
I didn't watch Gossip Girl.
Fully just going to bars.
But Gossip Girl, I think, is also one of those shows that doesn't count because they're in high school but their high schoolers being played by like 25-year-olds.
They all are.
That's my point. You're not going to talk about like, oh, Dawson's Creek is this. Like
they were all older.
Yeah, well, that's my point. You're describing.
Oh, now they're not.
No, now they're not. Now it's like if you're doing a movie about high schoolers, they're played by high schoolers.
Oh, I just assumed it was still the same.
Because Good Boys is like middle schoolers played by middle schoolers, like they're kids played by kids.
I mean, which is
which makes more sense. It makes them more realistic.
Yeah,
but like that's my point. Is your
yeah, I guess Gossip Girl.
Your point of order about like Gossip Girl and Dawson's Creek and 90210 and shows like that, where it's like you're all in your 40s playing like 21-year-olds.
Yeah,
it's like you're not fooling anybody.
And it's just weird because like you're supposed to be in high school, but like the stuff that like you're dealing with on the show is like very not.
And I think our generation was the beginning of kids playing kids because we had Boy Meets World, and they were kids.
Were they?
Yes.
I mean, his brother was on the Wonder Years in the 80s.
Well, maybe they weren't the exact age, but it wasn't like when they were in high school, they may have been in their early 20s.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like 30-year-olds playing like juniors in high school. Because when Boy Meets World starts, I'm pretty sure they're in middle school. They're young. They're young kids. That's why my age had such a crush on Topanga, because you watched her grow as you grew into a man.
I loved that show. I did not watch Girl Meets World.
The reboot was dog shit. But the reboot was dog shit for the same reason we thought Fuller House was dog shit. We weren't watching it for like the continuation. We were watching Fuller House for Bob Saget, Dave Coulier, and John Stamos.
Well,
we were not watching it for like, here's a brief cameo by these three, and then the entire show was about your annoying ass kids.
Yeah, but the problem was
who weren't that annoying in the 90s, but then became very annoying adults. And then same thing with Girl Meets World. Like, I watched it for Corey and Topanga and Sean and, like, the characters I watched. I don't care about your kids.
Well,
Show me your life as an
my
adult.
issue with
because
Fuller
I am
House
now an
was
adult.
it was the same, like, the jokes were still the same, and it was, like, very,
it
like...
was very 90s sitcom.
And it felt, like, so dated, even though they were living in, like, the modern era.
Yes.
But it was like watching the Brady Bunch movie where, like, just the Full House family was stuck in the 90s.
No, that's what made it worse. Was the whole show was written like that.
Yeah.
The Brady Bunch movie is tolerable because everyone else is modern
Normal,
and the Brady
yeah.
Bunch
Well, I mean, I
family
love
is
the
still
Brady
like the
Bunch movie.
70s, and it's clearly like a spoof.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But, like, Full House was not. It was like they lived in the town with the Stepford Wives, where, like, they're all, like...
Fuller House was just bad.
Yeah.
So bad. I'm like, I tried so hard to like it, and I'm like, this is unbearable.
It also,
and
like...
I think it did that horrible thing that I can't stand, where it's like, here's my child who is
the boy next door.
Not even in middle school.
Oh, no, it's DJ's son or whatever.
But, like, here's my child who's not even in middle school, and he's, like, a fucking genius, and he's such a smart ass, and, like, I'm like, stop it. Write kids as kids. Or if you're going to make, like, a raunchy comedy, I'm fine with that. But I'm so tired of these, like, ultra smart children. It's like, you're not fucking smart.
Yeah.
You're not that fucking smart. Not every child on the planet is a fucking genius.
They leaned, like, so heavy into the comedy, like, and maybe if we would have kept watching, but, like, there was not a whole lot of, like, serious moments.
No.
So then, like, the show, like, really lacked, like, any sort of depth.
Yeah, you lost the, like, tonight on a very special Fuller House.
Yeah. But, like, even, like, episode to episode, there was never, like, I don't know, the conflicts were, like...
What was the middle sister's name?
Stephanie.
Tonight on a very special Fuller House, we deal with adult Stephanie's alcohol problem.
Well, I mean, in real life, we deal with adult Stephanie's severe drug addiction.
Was she also an alcoholic?
Not, well, maybe.
She had both, probably.
In the show, I think she was...
Well, that was my joke, was that she was a severe drug addict. She got clean before the show, though.
I think she got clean long before the show. She's a DJ.
And my last note is that I don't know if you saw it. There's a great... Well, I don't know if you saw the trailer for the movie I'm going to talk about. But to lead into that, there's a great TikTok that I saw of a guy where it's like, if you could go back in time and tell your younger self one thing, what would it be? And he goes back in time. And it's just like him with a hat on. Which I always love when Vines and TikToks do that shit, but whatever. But he goes to his room, he's like, oh, you're older than me. And he, like, looks around, and there's, like, an N64 or something, or an NES with Super Mario Brothers. There's a Garfield doll, and there's something else. And he's just like, everything you love is going to be Chris Pratt. The kid's like, what? What do you say? He's like, I know you don't know who that is, but everything you love is going to be Chris Pratt. So just stop, find something else, like, move out of this house, move into the woods and live off the grid. Everything you love is going to be Chris Pratt. And he makes some comment, like, he says something about Mario, and he's like, Chris Pratt. And he's like, oh, well, thank God I have this new hobby of, like, really being into dinosaurs, because that new movie Jurassic Park that just came out, and he's like, Chris Pratt. He's like, it's Chris Pratt. But that is because the star of the new Garfield movie coming out
is Chris Pratt?
Is Chris Pratt. And let me tell you, I'll play the trailer for you when we're done recording. It's fucking jarring as shit. Because that's not what Garfield should sound like. Not at all. He should sound like either the one from the show that was super monotone and super like, oh, it was really down here. Like, that was the cartoon Garfield. Or Bill Murray. Because Bill Murray was the original.
I was like, wasn't there already? I never watched any of it. I wasn't really a big Garfield.
I watched the show.
I liked the comic, but that's really what
I don't remember why I watched the show, because I also wasn't like, I mean, Garfield was funny, but I was never like, oh my god, Garfield.
Yeah,
like,
no.
But I did watch the show. I watched the movies because Breckin Meyer is in them. Breckin Meyer's in them. Bill Murray is the voice of Garfield, which is the hilarious story of
What's the dog's name?
Odie.
Odie, and Nermal is the other cat.
Nermal is the gray cat.
He's so cute, the little tiny one.
The story of Bill Murray doing the voice of Garfield, I'm sure you're not aware. I'm pretty sure the director is...
Oh, he thought it was going to be something else.
The director, I think, was Joel Cohen. Cohen. The directors of, like, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Hail Caesar, Fargo, it's Joel and Ethan Cohen.
Yeah.
C-O-E-N.
Yeah, he thought it was
He
them.
thought it was the Cohen brother.
Yeah.
Then after he signed on, like, started doing the movie, it was like, you're not the same fucking guy.
It's like, I've changed my mind.
It's so funny to me.
Too late now.
And they did Garfield 2, A Tale of Two Kitties.
Yes.
Which is they do the weird Prince and the Pauper swap thing. But yeah, he's now the voice of Garfield. And I'm like, I watched the trailer and it is super fucking jarring the first time he talks. But then I'm also like, people were real upset when he did the voice of Mario. And I just, like, I understood it, but I was more in the lane of the niche people on the internet that were like, why don't you give these jobs to voice actors?
Yeah.
Like, why is every single person in the Mario movie a celebrity?
Yeah. Well, because they knew they needed to draw.
And then, like, then you come to Garfield, and it's the same thing. But then my thought when Garfield was announced and the trailer came out was not as much like, why don't you give these jobs to voice actors? My thought was more like, you're aware there's more actors, period, than Chris Pratt?
He must be the one who's like, yeah, I'll do anything.
Like, why? Whose idea? Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know.
Like, sure, he was fine in Mario, but like...
Yeah, I mean...
And he'll be fine in Garfield, but it's just one of those things...
It's also
like,
because no one gives a shit about the Garfield movie.
But it's just like, why him?
Is anyone asking for a Garfield movie?
No. Not a single person asked for a Garfield movie. No one really asked for Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Well, but at least that hadn't been done yet.
It did. With John Leguizamo and...
A long time ago.
I forget what his name is. The guy from...
Like...
It's the guy from Roger Rabbit.
A modern... Which guy?
I'm pretty sure.
The
guy. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's Mario.
What?
John Leguizamo is Luigi.
What?
How do you not know this?
I watched the show. And the bad one.
The Super Mario Brothers Super Show?
Yeah, I don't know.
With Lou Albano, the wrestling manager? Super Mario Brothers, Bob Hoskins as Mario and John Leguizamo as Luigi.
I mean, I never saw it.
Dennis Hopper as King Koopa, the guy from Speed, the villain from Speed. He's
sure.
King Koopa. What do you mean, sure?
I haven't seen Speed in so long.
Is? Speed's a great movie. We gotta get this bus to 66 miles an hour.
50.
Is it 50?
I think
it's 55. It's probably 55. Well, that's the last of my notes. I just felt like pointing out the strangeness and stupidity of Chris Pratt voicing Garfield. I just don't understand it. Like, I don't have an opinion on Chris Pratt. I think he is super churchy, even though he tries to, like, backplay that.
I think he's kind of an asshole.
And I think he's a dick. I think he became a dick once he got in shape. And it's weird to me the amount of people that are super friendly with him, where it's like, the people who knew you when you were heavy don't really talk to you anymore, I don't think. Yeah. And now you have, like, all your new Marvel superhero friends, and I'm pretty sure it's because you're a fucking asshole. Like,
yeah, it seems
like I'm not giving all credit to Anna Faris, but, like, she said you were a piece of shit after you got, like, ripped. After you got paid to be in Zero Dark 30 and be super in shape, you became kind of a piece of shit. But I just think it's hilarious that, like, he belongs to the church he belongs to. It is a fact that it is this church he belongs to. He made that super churchy speech at the VMAs or whatever.
The church he belongs to is
and then he tries to, like, well, that's the whole thing. That's why people don't like him, because the church he's involved with is, like, super anti-LGBT. I'm pretty sure they're like super racist. Like, it's a very weird church.
And I think it's more so.
It's like a bordering on a cult church, I think.
Well, and it's like the Westboro Baptist, where like
you're total assholes to
and
everybody.
like they do like really awful things in the name of like church. It's like, no, I don't think you should.
In the name of the Lord.
I don't think you should be doing that. But sure.
But then he tries to backplay all of it. Like, oh, I'm not that religious. I'm not, I'm not really involved in that church.
And didn't he try to say like
well, it's one of those things of like, if you are, you are. Fucking own up to it. Don't make a speech at the VMAs or whatever. Like, first of all, you couldn't have picked a shittier award show to get up and do your whole, like, God is real.
Well, because he's talking to, like, teens.
I get it, but, like, take your youth pastor bullshit somewhere else. Do it at the fucking Academy Awards. Do it at the Emmys. Do it at the Golden Globes. Like, don't do it at the fucking VMAs. It's such a weird speech. It was such a weird speech. And
wasn't it like...
It was like the MTV Movie Awards.
Was it? Or I thought it was like Kids or Teens' Choice.
No, it was the MTV Movie Awards.
Oh.
I keep saying VMAs, but that's not what that is. It's the MTV Movie Awards. It's such a long speech, and I remember it being very jarring, because whatever number thing he gets to, it's just like, God is real. No. It's like 6 or 7.
I thought it was number 1.
Because they're every other. Like, 1 is a joke, 2 is serious, 3 is a joke, 4 is serious. And a couple of them were, like, slightly churchy. And then all of a sudden he's like, number 6, God is real. And it's like, what?
It's like, okay, great. But maybe now is not the time.
It's just a weird, like... And like I said, now he does interviews where people ask him about it, because everyone's like, the internet fucking hates you. Why is that? And then he tries to, like, I think it's because of, like, religious things that people don't really know, and I'm not really that involved in it. And it's like, if you are, you are. Just own up to it. And if you're not, you're not. But, like, the evidence points to you are.
Right. So which is it? Like, were you lying then?
Don't tell me that you met your wife at fucking church, and you're like, I'm not really involved in the church. You're involved enough to have met your wife there.
Well, but also, is he just, doing it because of her?
No, because you would say that.
Maybe not, because isn't he married to a Schwarzenegger?
Yes. Yeah, but and what's even weirder is, like, you make speeches like that, and then you watch him on the Graham Norton show, and he makes, like, the most inappropriate joke you can make. I forget what it was, but it's just like, good Lord.
Right, it's like so
you made a speech about how God is real, and then you told this absolutely filthy joke on this British chat show. Like, pick a lane, dude.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on the guy either way, but my opinion on him is like, you're not that great.
I liked fat Chris Pratt better. But
well, it's one of those things
he was funnier.
It's one of those things of, like, the character he being Andy Dwyer. Well, you can skip Zero Dark Thirty because no one really gives a shit about those movies now. But, like, he went from being Andy Dwyer to Star-Lord. Star-Lord is Andy Dwyer, just thin and kind of a dick.
Right.
Like, Andy Dwyer was stupid and, like, endearing and sweet.
Right, like
he started out as kind of an asshole, but, like,
he was a good
guy. The character more.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Star-Lord was just, like, stupid but a dick.
Yeah.
And kind of, like, an arrogant piece of shit.
Yeah.
So it's just a weird thing of, like, you just did the same character, but, like, made him kind of a bad guy.
Like, your body changed, so then your character, like, lost his...
Yeah, you went from being endearing to being an asshole.
Yeah,
Then you haven't done really much since then. And then you all of a sudden you're like, I'm Mario, and now I'm Garfield. And it's like... It's just a weird thing of, like, I get it. You don't want to put voice actors in there, but then, like, you're aware there are tons of other actors, period, voiced or not. Like...
Right, that could...
It's just a weird, like, why do you keep picking the same guy? Because you know damn well it's also not something he auditioned for. They asked him to do that.
Well, right. I mean, maybe he just really loves it. Maybe he did.
No.
He's like, I love voiceover
No.
work.
They approached him like, would you be the voice of Garfield? He's like, sure, I'll do that. That's fine.
Right. He
Yeah.
seems like a yes man.
But it's just, like I said, it's just a weird thing to me of like, why? Why is it always him? Why is he the first guy you ask? And why didn't anyone go, like, canonically the voice of Garfield has been deep. Chris Pratt's voice is not deep.
No.
That's why when I show you the trailer, because it's like a weird, it's him as a kitten, and then it's how John finds him. That's like the first couple of seconds, and then it cuts to like fast forward almost to him at the house, and that's when he talks, and it's like super fucking jarring because it is literally a cat with just Chris Pratt's voice.
Ew.
But it's the same thing with Mario. Mario's just Chris Pratt's voice.
Yeah.
There's like a few words. There's like a few words peppered in that he put like a New York accent on. That's his take on Mario.
I didn't mind it. We just
I don't mind it either.
Today.
Like I didn't mind it either, but I thought it was hysterical that people were so mad about it. Then right before it came out, him and Nintendo or whoever put this statement out about like it's going to be something you've never heard before. It's going to be so different, and then it's like this is Chris Pratt. This is Chris Pratt's speaking voice.
Right, like everybody just sounded like themselves except for Jack Black.
He changed nothing except for like every now and then there's a word that he put an accent on, and it's only like one word in the whole
sentence.
sentence.
And he did do that. It's a me once,
but that's like a very like They're they're peppered in. He gets the power up, and he's like the wahoo. Like it's not.
And I wouldn't have. I think it's better that they didn't have him like try to redo that. But like,
when they do it in their commercial or whatever, like they do acknowledge it. But like, it's just a weird. I don't know. I was fine with it not sounding like that, and I was fine with Chris Pratt doing it. But like, don't. We're in this weird time now of like internet trolls rule the world, and studios like feel like, oh, we have to make a statement about this. It's like, no, you don't. Just ignore it. People will see your movie or they won't.
Right.
All the shit with the Marvels, like we get it. Basic ass generic fucking straight white dudes don't like Brie Larson, so they're not going to see your movie. Everyone else who wants to see it will fucking see it.
They'll still see it.
It's just it's just so stupid. But yeah, I don't know. It's just such a strange thing to me. That Chris Pratt is the voice of fucking Garfield. How do I view my saved things here? I do like all the Easter eggs and stuff in that movie.
Yeah, they did a good job.
But and we're not going to do all of these because I saved a lot. But I didn't really look at them. I just saved them. I'll read you the titles and you can tell me what to do. So my wife and co-host here felt that we should do a Thanksgiving themed episode because it is Thanksgiving time, even though we're trying to keep the show like, I forget what that word is, evergreen kind of, where you're not, and you don't really know, but I guess it does tell you the date that it uploads. So
well, but also like who cares?
Well, for longevity's sake.
Yeah, but then when you're looking for, I want to listen to something Thanksgiving related.
But I'm not looking for like a time capsule show.
No, but it's just like.
Well, this is also we're also not a TV show.
I just think it's
this
fun.
Is like, oh, I'm looking for Thanksgiving episodes. Let me find the collection of Bob's Burgers episodes that are all the Thanksgiving ones.
I think it's fun to like comment on like things that are seasonal.
So I went on.
I mean, maybe you love Thanksgiving. You would listen to it in the summertime.
And I just searched Thanksgiving.
Oh,
so
God.
I have a collection here of Thanksgiving themed Am I the Asshole posts.
Oh, God.
I thought, what's better than topical, relatable, holiday family drama?
I mean, Thanksgiving does seem to bring out the worst, more so than Christmas.
Well, it's because it's the beginning. You don't.
But you would think you'd be on your.
You don't do shit for Halloween. You don't do shit for like 4th of July.
But you would think you'd be on your best behavior then.
Thanksgiving is the first domino to fall. But the drama isn't at Thanksgiving. It's leading into Thanksgiving.
No, I think it's usually like at the meal. I mean, not like personally.
It's the planning of Thanksgiving, because that's, like I said, it's the domino effect of like, well, now you have Thanksgiving, then you go into Christmas, then you're, oh, are we doing anything for New Year's? What are you doing? Like, it's the beginning of the holidays of like doing shit with your family.
When I guess like people are traveling.
The dinner does get shitty, but of course it does, because you're with family you don't see. Some of them are assholes, some of them aren't, some of them are like super affectionate. It's just a weird thing. You're putting a lot of combustible elements together. Of course, something's bound to explode.
Well, and there's usually alcohol, which
there's usually booze.
I'm gonna guess that some of these are.
But like, yeah, I think more of the drama is in the lead up to it. As we could both type. But so I'll read you. I have a bunch of them. So I'll read you like the headline question, and then you tell me if you want to, what one you want to do. We'll do a couple of them, but not all of them. So we have, I'll start at the bottom. Am I the asshole for threatening to skip Thanksgiving? Am I the asshole for telling my wife that she can stay home this Thanksgiving? Am I the asshole for not going to Thanksgiving at my brother's new house? Am I the asshole for refusing to participate in Thanksgiving dinner? Am I the asshole for ruining Thanksgiving?
What the hell?
Am I the asshole for making my family start Thanksgiving dinner without my sister? Would I be the asshole if I went to my mother's Thanksgiving without my husband? Am I the asshole for asking to spend every Christmas with my family, since we spend every Thanksgiving with my husband's family? Am I the asshole for refusing to go to my mother-in-law's for Thanksgiving after the turkey was inedible last year? And am I the asshole for telling my husband to not come to Thanksgiving?
Well, I want to hear all of those, but I want the first. Well, let's do that one, because I want the one where it's like I told my wife she can stay home. I want to know why.
So we'll do telling my husband not to come. I'm 33-year-old female. Husband is the same age. He loathes Thanksgiving. He's a picky eater and doesn't like any of the options served except turkey, but even then he insists that my family doesn't cook it right. He is NC with his side of the family?
No communication?
Probably. No contact or whatever.
Yeah, no contact.
With his side of the family except for his brothers, so him going to see his family is not an option. My sister recently moved closer, so this year Thanksgiving is being held at her new house. This is the only reason the holiday came up this early. I was showing him pictures of the house from the old Zillow listing and mentioned that I didn't want to overwhelm her by visiting so early and moving in, and that I'd just wait to see it for real at Thanksgiving. My husband grumbled something about having to attend and talk with my family. He is barely tolerant of my extended family. He doesn't like their conversation topics, saying they all talk about themselves. They only talk about old people things.
This guy sounds like a dick.
They say the same things every year. Something AFAIK?
AF?
It's not capitalized, so I would imagine it's just a typo, but they have never said anything rude to him personally, but he still isn't crazy about my side, and we'll just kind of hang out and talk to my dad or brother or play with my nieces and nephews. Even if he did have a good conversation with my dad or played with my nephews, he will still complain about having to see people he doesn't care about and see all the gross food we all eat. It is so difficult to listen year after year. After he complained for a bit, I told him to just not come for Thanksgiving if he hates it that much. He sees all the members of my family that he likes for Christmas anyway. He looked offended at my suggestion and asked if I didn't want his company. I told him I love him being around, but not when he's not having fun and is going to complain at the end. He said I hurt his feelings to even suggest that he not come with me or something he's invited to.
No.
I told him if he's not having fun at an event that he has no obligation to attend, he doesn't have to come. He still insists that he's hurt and thinks that now I don't want him there. Am I the asshole?
No.
Some comments. Not the assholes. Hubby sounds extremely immature. Is he like this in other contexts that don't involve groups or family gatherings? Does he suffer from social anxiety?
But like, oh, I don't like the food they serve and everyone talks about old people stuff. You just sound like a self-centered asshole.
Original OP. No, but I think there's a part of him that just doesn't understand why I want to spend time with family and relatives that I often see only once a year on Thanksgiving. He does also have food related trauma, hence his pickiness, but nobody forces him to eat.
So then why wouldn't he just opt to stay home? Like, this sounds like the perfect opportunity for him. Like, she's giving you the out. Like, it's okay if you don't want to come. You can stay home. Like, why wouldn't you just stay home? You sound miserable.
He's in therapy for his food related trauma. Whatever the hell that is.
Maybe he was like force fed as a kid or
But
something.
it's the truth. You don't want him there. You don't want him there for good reasons. He complains about the food, the company, and the conversation. What's left? Why would he want to attend, and why would anyone want to host him? Original OP. I think he feels obligated as it's my family, and it's the closest thing to a family that he has. However, again, the members he actively likes live close, and we will see them again on Christmas, if not sooner. Yeah, I agree. Not the asshole.
Mm-mm.
He's the asshole.
Yeah.
You're the asshole for, like, relentlessly complaining about it. And the second she's like, then just don't come. And you're like, do you not want me there?
Right. No, I don't.
Just what an asshole.
Or just like suck it up.
That's my point.
Like your issue, this is not an issue where like you have some like actual disagreement with a family member.
Up.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If we went to your parents' house and I complained every year when we left about like every single thing, and then when we're planning next year and you like, just don't come. Like, I know all you're going to do is complain about it.
Right. Like, I don't want to deal with it.
I'm not going to then turn around and be like, do you not want me there?
And like, how do you not?
Like, I may follow up with like are you sure? Like, because I'll go, but like, if you're telling me I don't have to go, I'm not going to go.
Right. Like,
that's more what my follow up would be. I'm not going to be like, how dare you?
If you complained so much.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like she's trying to do you a service. I mean, also like
she's
herself.
Trying to do you a solid. But like, and you're like, how dare you?
She's trying, like, she's saying like, okay, well, like, you're really obviously not enjoying yourself, so you would just stay home.
And then you also wanted.
I want all the ones where it's like, I told my
wife can stay home. My wife is a grade A plus picky eater. It's bothersome to a certain degree, but on holidays, basically the shit show begins. She'd refuse to eat certain meals, and Mom would take it personally, which results in a series of arguments between them. As a compromise this year, my wife offered to bring her own food to Thanksgiving dinner. I was stunned. I asked if she thought this through, and she looked at me confused. I told her about how weird it'd be for her to bring her own food, especially when she wouldn't be sharing it with anybody else, and told her to think about how my mom will react. She'd get very offended and upset. My wife said that it's not her problem, and that she was just trying to make it work by bringing her own meal. I told her again that my mom might not like nor even allow this. She blew up at me, asking if I want her to either eat food she doesn't like or go hungry. I suggested she give my mom's food a chance, but she said it wasn't about my mom's cooking. She just doesn't like certain foods. We had an argument, and I ended up telling she could stay home this Thanksgiving and have whatever meal she likes. She got quiet, then lashed out at me, calling me insensitive and negative to say this to her. I repeatedly asked her to calm down, but she couldn't stop ranting about how I was basically willing to exclude her
big problem
from a major event. She started cold shouldering me about it while at the same time guilting me, saying I'm treating her poorly, and she offered the perfect compromise. Update. And so, my wife has decided to go spend Thanksgiving with her family, who, by the way, live hours away. Hours is all caps. So this means unnecessary travel expenses. Instead, and basically, ditch me for a whole week. Y'all happy now? Thought, though I appreciate some insightful comments on the situation. Some others, not so much, especially with those assumptions coming that my wife has allergies. She does not, all caps. Y'all get that from. But anyway, it's all good now. I guess, though, I'm not too thrilled with her decision. I feel like she's doing it to spite me or get me to cave in.
She is. But you told her to calm down in the middle of an argument, you're lucky you're not dead. This one's weird because the other one, I felt like her asking, she was not the asshole, but this one, I feel like he is being the asshole.
Oh, this guy's definitely the asshole. But first of all,
what does it matter? Why can't she just bring her own food?
You are the asshole for this whole middle paragraph. As a compromise, was here offer to bring her own food. I was stunned and asked her if she thought that was a good idea, and she looked at me confused. I told her about how weird it'd be for her to bring her own food, especially when she wouldn't be sharing it with anybody else, and told her to think about how my mom will react. She'd get very offended.
How long have you been married?
My wife said that it's not her problem, that she was just trying to make it work by bringing her a meal. I told her again that mom might not like, nor even allow this.
Like,
I suggested she give my mom's food a chance. Like, this guy has his head so far up his mother's asshole. Like,
but like, how long have you been married? Like, how many Thanksgivings has this been an issue? Like, if you are a picky eater, I think the best thing you can do is bring something along that you know that you'll eat.
Yeah.
And then, like, maybe, take a plate and still, like, try some things. But, like, just tell this guy should just tell his mom, like, look, she's a picky eater. She's just going to bring some food along. That way, like, she can still be with everyone. Well, like she'll still be here, but...
That's what I said, too. And it goes on to my point of, like, this guy being a total mama's boy is the whole, like, she's a picky eater. Her and your mother have gotten arguments before about how she won't eat the food. So then she offers to bring her own food, and your immediate thought is like, well, how will my mother feel about that? What do you mean, how will your mother feel?
She's not saying, like, oh, I don't like your food because it doesn't taste good. Yeah. She's saying, like, now, granted, you're a grown woman.
It's not about your mother's cooking. There are just some foods I don't like.
But, like, you're a grown woman. You could probably... It's time to learn how to eat real food.
Well,
but, like...
your side of the family is the same way.
But they still...
You have members of your family that are like, can you make a ham? Because I don't eat turkey. I just don't like it. I'm not allergic to it or anything. I just don't like it. So can you make a ham?
Well, yes. But, like, it's not the whole meal.
Are these hot dogs Burks?
It's not the whole meal. They're also not technically adults yet. They're still at the kids'
Close
table.
enough.
They're still at the kids' table. But, like, but essentially she's saying, like, there's not anything on a Thanksgiving menu that I would eat. How's that possible?
Well, they also don't tell you what they make.
Yeah.
You're going in with the idea of this is a traditional Thanksgiving meal.
Right, maybe it's not.
Who knows what they make? Because one of the comments said about, like, I was deemed picky by my ex's family. They put, like, garlic and onions and shit on everything, and I don't care for that. So it could also be a seasoning thing. Like...
yeah, or just, like...
But the idea of... It's not the cooking, there's just things I don't like.
Right, like, she doesn't like anyone's... anything. Like...
Well, it leads you to believe that, A, she doesn't like turkey, and they only make a turkey. But then, like... The sides, I feel like you're making a bunch of weird shit. You're not making, like, mashed potatoes. You're not really making, like, stuffing.
Right,
you're
like, we do...
ton of, like, bizarro shit where it's like, am I supposed to only eat green beans for dinner? Because I don't eat anything else on this table.
It is, like, we do need a little bit of context on, like, what your menu is.
Am I always just eat these fucking waffles? Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
You eat your waffle with butter on it, on the side of your plate. And you just shut up about it.
You cut it, and you sit there and wonder, like, why is there no syrup on this table? And you don't say anything to anybody. You're just like, I don't know why the fuck there's waffles here to begin with.
I don't know why there's waffles either, but there are.
And then 14 people will turn and point and laugh at you like you're a fucking moron. And it's like, no, you were the weirdos who have waffles on the Thanksgiving table and don't talk about it.
And everyone's like, oh, do you want a waffle? Yeah, let me get one. Oh, here, these waffles are hot. Make sure to get them, grab them now, get the butter on.
I'm not the weird one here, people.
We just forgot that you didn't know. That, like, no, not everyone just makes waffles as bread.
Or they're not used to something being with you on holidays.
That's true.
So now you want the... Starting dinner without my sister.
No.
Went to my mother's without my husband.
Yeah, let's try that one.
This is would I be the asshole? I, 27 female, have been married to my dear husband, 29 male, for 2 years. My mother has a gathering on Thanksgiving every year where all of her near relatives and family members come, which is located on the other side of my country, and we stay there for 2 days. Here's my dilemma. My mother and husband don't get along. This is because while I have been dating him for 3 years prior to being married, my mother always claimed that he was manipulative and too good to be true, which is quite frankly bizarre, but she would show her dislike of him by giving him snide comments at dinners or completely dismissing him. That is why he completely avoids her now, and she does the same, which puts me in a weird position. I got my invitation in the mail a week ago, and it stated that specifically I come. So by this, I realized my mother didn't want my husband to come. When she gets drunk, she says some bizarre things to him that are considered borderline flirting on her behalf.
Ew.
So maybe this is why she wants to avoid him. I told my husband this, and he seemed quite upset that we wouldn't be together on Thanksgiving, and wanted us to have our own. Although I wanted to see my family and relatives, I do want to bring him, but I don't want my mother to embarrass me or make him feel uncomfortable. I told him this, and he said he clearly knows who I'm prioritizing more and that he wanted to spend our Thanksgiving together, but now we will have to spend it alone. Would I be the asshole if I don't spend it with him?
I feel like yes,
Yes.
because your mom is the asshole here, but you have a big choice to make here.
Yeah. You're the asshole for prioritizing your rude, drunk mother who flirts with your husband and makes him super uncomfortable over the person you married. This is not a hard call.
Yeah. And I think she realizes that. Because it's not often you see the would I be an asshole. Usually it's after the fact. So like I think she already knows the answer, but she needs somebody else to sort of say like, you can't do that. Yeah. Especially since like
I was looking for any like
her husband said
OP reply comment.
Like if her husband would have said like, no, that's fine, then obviously it's then no, you're not.
Yeah. If your husband says to you like, I would really like to spend the holidays together.
Right. And
then you're like, well, it's my family. I only see them at Thanksgiving.
Wait, it's my mom's party. And like, why does she send out formal invitations? Weird.
I also want to know, like, not that it really matters, but like, what country is this?
Yeah. It is odd that she said my country.
The side of my country, which Reddit is a global thing, but that leads me to believe that it's not America.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird. As I was trying to see in the comments, like, did anyone ask, like,
right.
what country are we talking about here?
The side of what country?
So yeah, you'd be the asshole. And then we have refusing to participate in Thanksgiving dinner, not going at my brother's house, threatening to skip Christmas with my family since we spent Thanksgiving with his family, refusing to go to my mother-in-law's for Thanksgiving after the turkey was inedible, or starting without my family.
What was it? Starting?
Am I the asshole for making my family start Thanksgiving dinner without my sister?
Oh. Do the inedible turkey, just because I just want to see what people say.
Tracks. Mother-in-law is a phenomenal cook. The turkey is the first thing she made that I didn't like, but it was awful. I don't think mother-in-law even basted it, so it was dry, overcooked, and like SFIL. Stepfather-in-law?
What was it?
SFIL.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Stepfather-in-law said, tasted like sawdust. Thanksgiving is supposed to be our holiday with my husband's family. Mother-in-law does not like this and wants Christmas. As a result, she usually treats us kind of shitty on Thanksgiving to begin with, but last year was a mess. Note, I always offer to help with the cooking or bring a dish, and she always turns me down. So last year we arrived. She did her typical routine of ignoring us, and then she served all the traditional sides. This dry ass turkey. I just love it. They put this dry ass turkey. And she sat down with some meatballs that were just for her.
What?
Everyone asked why she was eating meatballs, and she said it is her house. Her husband whined because he wanted some, but she said they were leftovers and there wasn't enough for him. She said turkey is stupid anyway. No one liked the turkey, so stepfather-in-law decided to grill some steak. He also made a turkey burger for his mom, but said that he wasn't cooking for anyone else because he isn't our slave. So at this point, mother-in-law, stepfather-in-law, and his mom have different food, and me, my kids, my husband, stepfather-in-law. Wait a minute. That's definitely not what SFIL stands for, because now it's stepfather-in-law's stepfather. What?
You got too many step people going on in that
And
house.
mother-in-law's parents have this shit turkey. I felt humiliated, and I said I was leaving. Mother-in-law just rolled her eyes. I got some grief from mother-in-law's parents about how Thanksgiving isn't about the food, but I snapped at them that my kids weren't going to be treated like shit. We left and went to a buffet. It wasn't great, and the whole day was a letdown. My husband acted like I ruined Thanksgiving because he said there were enough sides, and we should have stayed as her sides were better than the shitty buffet. I set a boundary that I would never spend another Thanksgiving with her. She made us feel like second-class citizens, and she clearly can't cook turkey. Today, everyone is mad at me and accusing me of being petty and ruining my husband's relationship with my mother-in-law. Mother-in-law is roasting a chicken this year, so I know we wouldn't have to eat dry turkey, but to me it is the principle. I am refusing to go, send my kids, and I told my husband he is free to go, but I will be extremely hurt if he leaves his nuclear family to see mommy. ETA, we don't do Christmas with her because her Christmas is very adult-centric and boring for my kids, whereas my parents make a magical day for my kids.
It sounds like your mother-in-law, again, is the asshole here.
Well, what's funny is the verdict at the top says everyone sucks. I don't think OP does. I hear you, girl. Nothing rings more true to me than the line of, but to me it is the principle. That is me 1,000%.
But I think it sounds like they're having more issues than just the bad turkey, though.
I mean, I did save this because of the headline being about the inedible turkey, and I just thought, like, my parents' turkey is dry as a fucking bone.
It still tastes...
It does not.
Well, you also...
Don't lie to the viewers. Don't lie to the viewers.
You don't use gravy, though.
I have to, because that turkey is... like,
and I eat
sawdust.
I eat turkey as a vehicle for gravy.
You put it in your mouth, and all the moisture in your mouth just like right into that turkey, and then your whole mouth is like.
I always just thought like that's how turkey.
Then I immediately drink water, and I'm like, this didn't help. I need more water now, please.
Put it right on the turkey.
Well, I have to like put the turkey on my fork and then dunk it in the water and then put it in my mouth. It's so dry.
Just you have to douse it.
I don't get it.
Gravy. I mean, more gravy than you.
And we didn't have that problem when I was growing up, and now all of a sudden, as an adult, I'm like, this turkey fucking sucks.
Yeah, no. Do they leave it in the oven too? Obviously, they're leaving it in the oven too long. That's like the only.
Well, didn't we talk about?
Because
they leave it in there.
Yeah.
It's done cooking, but then like so it stays warm. They leave it in the oven, and it's like, what? I don't think you know how an oven works. Just because you turn it off, you didn't open the door, so all the heat is still in there. It's still cooking the turkey.
Like adjust so that the turkey is like.
Well, they need to adjust and start making the goddamn sides earlier.
What?
Because the turkey's not done when we get there, but they don't. Like, they wait until
the
right
turkey. No, I think they wait until the turkey's done, and then they make everything else, and then.
Know. I might say something to her because we're going over there for dinner. So when we go over there Tuesday for dinner, I'm gonna be like, "Can you figure it out?" Because that turkey's been dry as shit the past couple of years.
It works really well.
I was a real dick about the mashed potatoes because they also sucked, but like the turkey is the main event here, and it sucks. Turkey
Right.
is dry as shit. Figure it out. I don't care if you're gonna baste it. I don't know what you're doing to it, but like, take it out of the goddamn oven.
Put it in the bag. Do they
Sit
put it in the
on-
bag?
I think so. I'm pretty sure they do the
No,
exact
they
same
use a
thing.
pan. No, they use a roaster pan in the oven, and we use a bag in an electric roaster.
Yes.
But the first, no, I did use it. I did use the electric roaster the first year.
Well, hopefully we won't have this problem next year. So I'll just suffer through a dry ass turkey this year, and then that'll be the end of it. What was that one? Dry ass turkey. Yeah, I think your mother-in-law is the asshole,
But it seems like you got a lot going on.
and your dad and your husband is kind of an asshole.
That like I don't. If it was just
It
her
sounded
turkey,
like,
then sort of.
it sounded like the episode of The Bear where they're having Christmas, I think, because it's very like Jamie Lee Curtis is super drunk, and like she's in the kitchen and no one is helping her, but then people try to help her. She screams at them to get out, but then she bitches that no one's helping her.
Right, yeah.
Like, it's very, but like, you lost me at like fucking meatballs.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, did she
Turkey's stupid anyway.
Did she make bad turkey on purpose?
Probably.
But like, she's saying that like.
Oh, she definitely did. Because people told her, your turkey sucks. She got upset by that. So I was like, fuck you. I'm going to make a shitty turkey to spite all you fuckers.
Yeah.
And I'm going to eat something else. And then her husband, whoever the fuck the SFIL was.
And then his
just
stepdad.
made steaks for him, his stepdad, and his mom. He made a turkey burger. I could not imagine being at a meal and just telling the majority of people there, like, go fuck yourself. I'm eating my own thing.
And
then
also,
for someone
like,
else to make more food and be like, this is for us. Fuck you. Eat that dry turkey.
so like the people whose home you're at are just like, I know the food I'm serving you sucks. I'm making myself more, but you have to eat the shitty food. Then like, don't be shocked that I don't want to come. So no.
Internet slang for stepfather-in-law.
Yeah, I think it was saying like stepfather-in-law and then like.
But you lost me at
then
my stepfather-in-law's stepfather. Jesus fucking Christ, people.
Yeah.
Stop getting remarried.
There's a lot going on.
Just knock it off. I think we'll do one more. I think one of them had a bunch of updates.
Oh.
Yeah, edit. Let's see. Do any of the other ones have it? This one doesn't. This one doesn't. This one doesn't. This one.
I just keep bundling myself up more and more over here. I'm so cold.
Ooh, this one's also got a lot. So we have your two options for the end are: am I the asshole for asking to spend every Christmas with my family since we spend every Thanksgiving with my husband's family? Or am I the asshole for threatening to skip Thanksgiving?
I guess the skip.
Skipping Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
You're very family-centric there, Julianne.
Well, I'm curious as to why they want to skip. The other one, like that other one with the, like, splitting the holiday, like, I see what the conflict is there. Like,
do you?
Well, I
the
mean,
headlines can be very deceiving on these posts.
I'm sure there's more than just that, but like, you spend this holiday with these people, so you want to spend this holiday with those. But I want to know why you want to skip. I don't have a why for the other one.
I was born on Thanksgiving.
Oh, no.
As a result, every year we celebrate Thanksgiving and my birthday on the same day. I get presents, my favorite leg, and ice cream. It's how we've done it every year.
My favorite leg?
With the exception of 2 years because of milestone ages. The other day, my mother makes a group chat and tells the immediate family that we will have one extra guest, my brother-in-law. His birthday falls on this Friday, an entire week before Thanksgiving break. My mom found this out and said that we can do a joint birthday. I told her, no, I didn't want that. She argued that it was his birthday too, and she could do what she wanted. I flat out said, if I see a cake made for him, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. The group chat did not like that.
This person is losing me. They are losing me.
Everyone started defending my mother, calling me a brat and selfish, but I just don't want to share another thing that's supposed to be for me. My high school graduation, overshadowed by my stepfather's retirement. Getting into college, oh, my older brother got in too, an entire semester before me. Let's celebrate.
Older brother, pal.
I get
Older brother.
overlooked, but clearly not by much if it's only a semester.
But even still.
I get overlooked so much, I paid for my own senior pictures and graduation pictures, but I'm conceited enough to gift those pictures to everyone for every occasion. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Edit to add, y'all, the year I was born on Thanksgiving. We celebrate it on Thanksgiving every year. It's a tradition. Edit to add, 2. I have spoken to my family about my feelings and everything that entails that. They still ignore me and call me selfish. Update/edit. I want to thank everyone who responded. I have read through as much as I can. I know I'm not the asshole for how I feel, but the way I went about it could have and should have been better. I will apologize for that, and for being a bit dramatic in my word choosing. I also realized that maybe this issue wasn't the issue I needed to be focused on. You guys are right. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, and I blew it up way more than I needed to. I will not be going to family Thanksgiving this year. Instead, I will be hosting my own Friendsgiving. No birthday talk until the actual day of my birth, and I'll think of something to do with my girlfriends. Seriously, even the you're the asshole comments, I thank you. It helped me see some hills aren't worth dying on, and sometimes I need to just back away. I also feel like I should clear some things up. Number 1, I don't get the entire day. I get 10 minutes set aside for ice cream and 2 presents. I get my favorite right leg at dinner, but that's as far as being special gets. Seriously, after those 10 minutes, I go back to being ignored. As a matter of fact, I'm the only one who cleans the kitchen because if I say no, everyone screams at me. I don't particularly like having my birthday on the holiday. This is number 2. But I know how my family gets when I would like to, so I've never argued that aspect of it. Number 3, I love my brother-in-law and my entire family. It's just us. No extended family comes, no one from out of state or even hours away comes. Number 4, I listed a few but not all examples of times I've been casted aside. My brother got 2 college acceptance celebrations, once just for him and the second time for me and him. My own traditions start now. It's like y'all said, I'm a grown-ass adult, I need to act like it. And thank you for the birthday wishes. This year will be the best one yet.
I do think that you're being an asshole. How old are you? Did it say?
Does not say.
So you
See if there's any comments that say.
At least into college, because she talks about like a college acceptance. So
yeah,
probably. And she mentioned like a few things about milestone birthdays, so she's probably over 21.
Definitely, that's my guess.
But,
I'm gonna guess mid to late 20s.
So you don't want to go to Thanksgiving because you don't want to share it with your brother-in-law.
So the idea is, I understand. To me, it's not the asshole, but I agree with the sentiment of like you could have handled this differently.
Yeah.
Like if it's my family, I get a group text from my mom with everybody else in it. My feelings are, I don't want to do that. I am not going to respond in the group chat like, fuck that, we're not doing that.
Right.
I'm going to respond to my mother or call my mother and say like, hey, I really don't want to do that.
But
like I'm already sharing the holiday. I don't want to add more people. Like we're already kind of like overshadowing my birthday with Thanksgiving.
You're an adult. No one gives a shit about your birthday anymore. Move on.
I get it, but my point is like if that's your feelings about it, that's how I would have handled it. Because I did laugh hysterically. My favorite line in this whole thing is the group chat did not like that.
Right, like maybe, you know.
It's so, I just love the idea of
voice
all that
of
happening
like,
in the group chat.
Or like at least I just feel like more people would make it more fun. And I get it. Like,
Also,
she's felt like cast
it's
aside a
also
lot.
telling. I would also guarantee you, brother-in-law, my older brother, this is 100% the youngest child.
Or middle. It's very middle.
It could be middle, but it's also
I mean, it also screams baby.
screams youngest. Because this would be me. All of this would be me. Because you know what you're definitely getting from me? If I flat out said, if I see a cake made for him, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. That would be me.
But I just don't understand. Like,
you better believe if my feelings were made clear of like, I don't want to do that, and you're like, well, it's my house, I'll do whatever the fuck I want. You better believe my retort is going to be, you walk out of that kitchen with a cake with his name on it, and I'm fucking out of here. And I'm not coming back.
It's just so immature. Like, he can't help it that it's his birthday too.
Well, no one is putting it on him.
I know, but
it's on the mother. The mother is kind of the asshole.
I don't think so. I mean,
the other day, my mother makes a group chat and tells the immediate family that we will have one extra guest, my brother-in-law. His birthday falls on this Friday, an entire week before Thanksgiving. My mom found this out and said, first of all, my mom found this out. You don't know when your fucking son-in-law's birthday is?
And like, why?
And said we can do a joint birthday.
Why did you have to announce that he was going to be the extra guest? Like, of course he's going to be there.
And said we can do a joint birthday. First of all, how long has your brother-in-law been in the picture? Because just found out sounds like he's been there for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, said in the group chat, we can do a joint birthday. It sounds, well, no.
Because like her birthday isn't.
Now I'm leaning a little bit more into like, yes, you could have handled it differently and just did you and your mom one-on-one. But I was reading this as the brother-in-law was involved in that conversation, but I don't think he was.
Probably not.
So, okay, I still stand by it that you're not the asshole. Because it's weird to me of like...
Maybe they're just trying to like make him feel included.
I don't know. It's just also a weird thing of like...
Why do you need to like...
First of all, his birthday was a whole week before Thanksgiving. Why are you going to do a joint birthday?
Her birthday is several days probably after Thanksgiving.
Well, yeah, her birthday is whenever. Because it was on Thanksgiving the year she was born.
Yeah.
Which is like a weird, like, oh, we just do it on Thanksgiving. It's our tradition. No, it's, you're lazy.
Well, it's your...
You got lazy when your daughter was a child because you didn't want to do a birthday party so close to a holiday.
Well, that would be Robin.
So then you said, too bad.
Because Robin was born the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay, well, we're doing a party for him in the beginning of December.
Yeah. Well, because I don't want to clog up Thanksgiving.
Well, we're probably going to split because Tony's is October 20th. So we're probably going to
do them in the
move Tony back a little bit and move Robin up a little bit and just do them together.
Yeah.
But that's different than like, oh, we're just going to celebrate your birthday on a holiday. Like, what?
Well, and
like now we're diving into the question of like, what were your birthdays like? Because as a child, when your birthday kind of matters to you, did you have parties with your friends, or did you just celebrate it on Thanksgiving and it was kind of like a...
Well, they're not saying like that was it. It was just saying like their tradition is that like they do a little bit...
They celebrate her birthday on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but they're not saying... She's not saying like that's all they ever did. So like she may have had...
But it does raise the question of like, if that's your tradition is to celebrate your birthday on Thanksgiving... To me, that says like it's Thanksgiving is your birthday. This is when we're doing your birthday party. But if you know if it's Thanksgiving, you're not having friends over. No. You're not like doing a party you would want to do. You're getting the right leg of the turkey and two gifts.
It just seems like maybe this person isn't an asshole, but like they definitely, and they said it in one of like the updates, like. You definitely need to do some reevaluating with like.
Also, I wholeheartedly agree and say that you are not the asshole, but you are clearly the second or middle child, or the second or last child,
Well,
youngest or middle. Because
you're
the
not
whole
the
like
only asshole.
the whole like when I say we celebrate my birthday, I mean like I get 10 minutes of celebration. I open 2 gifts. I get the right leg of the turkey because that's how much being special gets you. And then that's it. After those 10 minutes, they all go right back to ignoring me. That is painfully youngest or middle.
But like,
child.
are they really ignoring you?
The ignoring thing makes me believe it's probably middle.
Yeah, because no one ignores the youngest child.
But I feel like it would have been mentioned more if your brother-in-law was your younger sibling's husband. Because your older brother got admitted to college
Well,
the same time you did.
Does she talk about, not that like it could be the older brother's husband.
Yeah, but I feel like you would have made that more clear too. Like you wouldn't have been like brother-in-laws in this part of the conversation, and then my older brother got accepted to college. Like it would have been
she
like
could have a younger.
I feel like it would have been like my older brother-in-law's husband, kind of like you would have made it more known. Like these are the same person.
Yeah.
I only have one sibling, kind of thing. It feels like these are 2 separate. My older brother is separate from the brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Which then is either you're the youngest,
right? You have
and
an
your
older sister,
your older brother or sister has a brother-in-law now, or your younger brother, you're the middle, and your younger brother or sister is married.
Yeah. I would guess it's middle.
It's hard to tell. I don't know.
But it also feels like a bit like a pity party. You know, like, oh, everything I've ever done has been overshadowed by someone else. And it's like, has it, or is that your perception of what's happening?
But see, you say that, and it's hard. It's very funny to me to see how different our viewpoints are on the situation. Because this felt like a lot, like not pinpointed. This is exactly me, but a lot of this felt like me, and I feel like you're not going to understand that because you and your brother are 10 years apart. Your brother was a fucking adult when you were a child. Whereas, like, Jacob and I are 2 years apart.
Yeah.
So we were very close in age. And I get told a lot that it's a pity party when you go through VHS tapes at my parents' house. And it's like, Jacob's first birthday, Jacob's first Christmas.
Well, that's
this, my first birthday.
That's the first child syndrome.
And then you watch, like, my first Christmas, and it's just Jacob opening my gifts. Well, and not one person is like, well, why don't you help him? Or like let him do, like it's just him tearing through paper, and everyone else is just like, oh yeah, whatever, blah blah. Who gives a shit?
You should ask my family about home videos. You should ask who their home videos are of. Because do you know who they're not? Me.
Okay.
So that's like the second child syndrome.
No,
like,
I get it, but you're
by the time you get to the second one, you're like, no.
But you're not experiencing it the same way someone like I am. When your siblings are so close, you're not experiencing it the same way as someone who's 10 years apart.
It's worse. You would think that
not.
After 10 years it will be
like... It's worse for me.
You'd want to relive everything. They're like, nah, we did it all
after 10 years,
already.
You're like, what the fuck are we doing?
Meanwhile, they're like, no, we don't need a video of it.
After accident number 1, and then you have 10 years go by, and then you're like, why the fuck are we doing this? One of these kids is 10 years old. We're shipping one of these kids off to college, and we're having a kid. What the fuck is happening right now? Whereas when you're as close as Jacob and I are, because then you run like I said, Jason is a whole other world than you. When you're this close in age, because then you're running into like, oh, I have baseball games and all these extracurriculars that are pulling my parents to this, and I'm not doing any of that. So I have to get in the car and I have to go to Jacob's baseball games I don't want to go to. So I can't stay home because I'm too young at that point.
It's the name of the game.
I'm just telling you. It's a different story.
I don't think it is. Still think that this person's being a brat.
I'm not saying they're not fully being a brat, but like I get it.
I mean, like maybe you're not the full blown asshole, but
'Cause
you've
it's
got
also
you got a lot of
this is
elements in there
clearly-
that are not right.
It's also clearly something that you have never talked about, whether it be with a therapist or your friends or your family. You have never talked about this, because that to me,
It's definitely been brewing.
yeah, that response and then the subsequent Reddit post is clearly years of you feeling like you are neglected and
Or
you were
like
overshadowed by everybody else. And it all just came to a head at, oh, we're going to now, not only are you sharing your birthday with Thanksgiving, you're also going to share your birthday with your brother-in-law. So that was the straw that broke the camel's back, that just made you go like, fuck you. We're not doing that.
Maybe all of you needed something so you could break the cycle.
What it sounded like was you needed to, years ago, say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right, like I don't want to celebrate.
Like, I don't care if we celebrate my birthday or not, but if
Right.
we're going to, I don't want to do it on Thanksgiving.
Right.
Like, I would just rather have Thanksgiving and not talk about it, and we don't do anything at all.
Right,
or like we do it the next day or the day before or the week before or the week like whenever we do it. But this sounds like years ago.
It's definitely,
and that's where it's different for me, because I'm not going to let that linger. Like, you know me, I don't let shit brew up.
This person certainly has been sitting on it, and maybe they were looking for an excuse.
I got that Kathy in me where I'm like, if this shit's stupid, I'm gonna fucking tell you this shit is stupid.
And I would have.
You know me, that to a fault, I am very like, this shit's dumb.
I'm well aware.
I'm gonna tell you this shit's fucking dumb. I can't help it. Someone has to do it.
Not always.
Yeah, always.
Sometimes everyone's aware. No one needs to say it. We're all in
Somebody
it now.
has to.
No.
Yes. You can't just ignore the shit. Someone's gonna point it out.
Not every time.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it's better to get it out than let it fester.
Well, yeah, but a lot of times it's like, this isn't going to fester. We're all just going to get over it in a minute. But now that you've brought it to light, now we can't. Now we have to deal with it.
No, people won't get over it. People will then leave and talk about it, and it'll bother them the rest of the night. Whereas if you bring it up immediately, then it gets brought up, and then you move on and you forget about it.
I'm sure.
Just telling you how it is. When you ask Jeremy, that's what people love about me.
Probably not.
That's what Jeremy loves about me.
He doesn't live with you.
Hey. You knew what this was. I'm not any different than I was in 2015, so... Same thing with my parents. Not any different than I was in high school. So... It is what it is. Thank you for joining us. Hope you all enjoyed that. We might revisit those, because I really want to read that one that had like a ton of edit, no.
I think if you have to add that many notes, like maybe you already know you're the asshole, but it's like updates.
I think it's more updates. I think they're like, you put whatever.
Because you read the comments, and then
I think it's you put whatever post, and people are like, wait a minute, how old are you? Like, that matters to this, and you never mention it.
Yeah.
And you go in and like, edit, I'm 30.
Yeah. Because I would think like you would just do it in the comments, but I guess not.
Yeah.
I guess it's so that like...
Well, you might do it in like one, but then like you see more people like, it's like a Facebook comment.
Yeah.
Like, I did comment
Well,
this.
because someone's not going to read... Most likely people aren't reading through like all the comments. You don't read through
the replies and stuff like that.
Although I don't know, like I don't...
Or you post it and you don't go back on to like a day or two later and tons of people are asking the same question. You're like, fuck this, I'm not going to reply to everybody. I'm just going to put it in the post. Like,
yeah.
Edited for context, this is this.
Yeah, I don't know how like those things...
Edited for context, yes, my stepfather-in-law has a stepfather.
Yeah, right. We have questions about who's what here. How many stepfathers are in this
My comment is, can you please post a picture of your family tree?
Yeah.
Because I'm very confused by all this.
I need to see how many, like, cross-offs and, like...
Yes.
I don't know how you
Are the divorcees all there? Or
So
are
it's
they
like
having
this,
separate
and then like
meals?
somehow.
It'd be these two are married, then they get divorced. So now it'd
So
be
then you
like
like cross out you.
I think you just scribble this out
Yeah,
and then write a name next to it.
yeah, and then you draw like more.
I think you have like these, and then it's like, oh, these two got divorced. So you like draw a gravestone, and then you write a new name.
But then how do you?
Unless you still talk to and celebrate with this person, then you draw a gravestone over this name, and then you put it over here.
But then like, oh, so now I have here's me and you, and we get divorced, and you remarry, but now this person, now there's more parents, so we got to go up and down.
Well, it would be like if you and I were here. Well, if I was here and like my parents got divorced, I think it would be like me, my dad, my mom, my stepdad.
Yeah, but then like for you would have like additional grandparents, so you could go up, and you could also go down. Do you?
Well, not necessarily.
They did stepfather and stepfather.
Well, my stepfather-in-law's stepfather. So it was essentially.
How many?
I also don't understand. How do you have a stepfather-in-law? Just call him your father-in-law. He's not your stepdad.
Well, but I guess like
I get it, but like he's not your stepdad. Just call him your fucking father-in-law.
Yeah.
That'd be like if my dad was my stepfather, and you're like, oh, my stepfather-in-law, my mother.
That sounds like
it's like, no, he's not your stepfather.
Yeah, I think it's clunky, but
it's very clunky.
Whatever, if you want to.
And it makes it even clunkier when you're like, my stepfather-in-law's stepfather, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, maybe people need to give up.
It's like I can't follow.
Also, the meatball thing really tells me why so many of you are divorced.
Oh, it sounds like you're about to have another.
She made meatballs, and then you guys made steaks and turkey burgers. Just gave the finger to everybody else. Yeah, no shit.
She made meatballs and told her own husband, like,
She made meatballs, told her whatever number husband, like, these are mine. Figure it out. And then he went and made shit for his mother and stepfather and told everybody else, figure it out. You eat that dry ass turkey.
Unbelievable.
That was such a wild story. Oh god.
Lots of characters and lots of weird.
But yeah, we hope you enjoyed. We might do another Am I the Asshole? Maybe I'll find some Christmas ones.
Oh god.
So I'm sure those are winners. Am I the asshole for knocking over Jesus and then it's
It depends on if it was on purpose or not.
Well, that's always the headline. But the thing is, like, it was a live nativity. I don't know why they did it. The horse spooked. The horse got spooked, and it spooked me. I felt like it's some long-winded thing about like how I knocked over the guy playing Jesus.
It's okay.
Oh god, that's why I said some of those headlines are misleading.
Yeah.
What's funny is, and because
there's a lot more to the story.
When I've noticed it too, the Smosh ones that they do, and they've noticed it, where like a lot of dudes tend to have very misleading headlines.
Oh, because they want the clicks?
No, it's
I guess you don't get anything.
It's because you want to like confuse people.
Oh.
Like the headline would be like, "Am I the asshole for taking the trash out?" And then like the story is like very much you're the asshole. Like the headline is no, you took the trash out. Who gives a shit? But the story is like, oh no, you're a fucking asshole. Right.
Like
the story is your wife was cleaning out filing cabinets or whatever. Right. Important documents in it. Uh-huh. She put them in a trash bag to move them to the basement. You just grabbed the trash bag, took it out, and now it's in the dump.
Right. Or like you.
And you're like, I don't understand why I'm the asshole about it. It's like, you do know why you're the asshole about it.
Right. Like or like even more so, like she specifically told you not to, and you did.
Yeah.
Like.
But that's what I mean. Like there's a lot of like.
Yeah.
The title is very mundane.
Well, and it's like a little bit vague.
Yeah.
So like, and like even in the title, you might immediately think like, no, you're not the.
Am I the asshole for cleaning my windows? And it's like, I was trying to find a rag and I couldn't find anything, so I found this old ratty looking thing and I used it, and then I found out it was my wife's baby blanket. And she was like super upset about it, and I'm like, this thing looks like it's about to fall apart.
Right.
I don't understand what the big deal is.
And it's like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
So am I the asshole for just telling her to fucking get over it? Suck it up, bitch. And they're like, yeah, you're the asshole.
Yeah, this screams you're the asshole.
So yeah, we might revisit this again because we don't do these that often, and some of them are usually fun. Those are also old. Like when we did just the "Am I the Asshole" thing, we were finding newer ones. But when you go on and just search Thanksgiving, like those were all over a year old.
Oh, well,
but still fun to read.
Yeah, but you would think, I guess people would be.
Well, that's why there's so many edits.
Yeah.
Too. But thanks for joining us. We will be back next week. I'm probably going to take some sort of. We're probably going to take some sort of break around Christmas time. I thought about doing it, but it's not really Thanksgiving and shit. We can record on Black Friday. It's not a big deal. But I think around somewhere in the Christmas area, we probably will. But I haven't figured that out yet. But we will be back next week. Thank you for joining us. Follow us on social media. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Punch that notification bell so you get notified when all our new episodes drop. Yeah, I think that's everything. We love you, and as always, thank you for being a friend.